So what does it take to embrace, engage and deliver a new way of working? As an SAP customer, you're already benefiting from a single integrated solution that incorporates key business functions and common processes. But to run SAP even better, you need to exploit the feature-rich solution and deliver an ultimate user experience founded on simplicity, intuitiveness and mobility. User-centered design is Ciber's design philosophy for simplifying SAP to deliver the ultimate user experience. Our approach is agile, change-driven, and bridges the gap between business people and IT systems to deliver a role-based transformation. And the first step in this is the input step. Input is the initial session where we get to know the business, identify constraints and educate the team on user experience, approach and the likely outcomes. We identify and agree the areas that need to be addressed first. Where can we improve the user experience? A list of user roles are then identified that we will focus on in the next step, which is the observe step. We observe the user's role, understand how the role interacts with the business, explore requirements, make recommendations on how we make the role even better. We show empathy for the user when we're sat with the user during the observe phase. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Empathy is powerful and done well ensures you can connect with the user and see how their job is performed through their eyes, seeing their problems and their daily challenges. The outcome leads to the answers to the following questions. How can we make your role better? What do you really need? What is the real purpose of your role? What's the objective? What's the end goal? What is stopping you doing your particular job right now? How can we improve your interactions with SAP? So it looks at the whole environment that they're working in, because it's not just about a user interface. The user experience is beyond that and takes in all aspects of the user's environment. All these findings that we find in the observe are now played back in the next phase. So the playback and review meeting. After observing the user's role, we play back the findings to the team and we're basically identifying areas of improvement. The findings are split into three categories. We have business challenge, solution challenge and role challenge. Business challenge, that basically is around how your businesses have evolved over time since implementing SAP, and does that business process and business requirement now fit each other? Because over time it may have evolved. Your business has matured and no longer fits the solution that was implemented many years ago. So there's a process realignment there that needs to take place. Solution challenges. You may have a sub-optimized solution. You may have master data problems or missing information. Again, this needs to be addressed as part of the user experience. Also role challenges. What's the current usability like? What's the training at the current moment? How good is the training? What skills have they retained? What knowledge improvements and context enrichments do they need to improve their job? So again, it's taking in all those feeds from the user and basically presenting them back, because the discussions around these areas are the business requirements, and those business requirements create the initial backlog. A product backlog is a list of business requirements that defines what the user role requires to perform all of their required tasks. So you think of a product backlog as a list of business requirements. Once we've got that product backlog, we then effectively turn it into delivery mode. So the next step is sprint planning. So what is sprint planning? Well, sprint planning is a mechanism for the Scrum teams, Scrum masters and product owners to decide on the requirements, which requirements are priority from the requirements backlog. Remember, the backlog is a list of business requirements. Those requirements are prioritised and placed into sprint cycles, and those sprint cycles could be 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, 5 weeks. They're defined based on what we're trying to achieve, but the objective, they're sprint cycles and they're shorter durations. Those that are not prioritised stay in the requirements backlog, and new requirements can be added to the backlog at any time. So we're still maintaining the product backlog. The backlog is still getting enriched through innovation and through design challenges, and the ones that are prioritised are actually put into a sprint cycle. And the objective of each sprint cycle is to have a product release that delivers functionality to be tested. That functionality is self-standing in its own right. So we're taking a deliverable that may take 16, 20 weeks, and we may be breaking it down into 4 or 5 cycles, and each cycle delivers something functionally rich, functionally capable of doing a particular activity productively in the business. So what's important about the sprint backlog? It is a prioritised backlog of key deliverables and defines the requirements that will be delivered within a sprint cycle. However, the backlog is a living list of requirements, embraces innovation and change, so will be under constant review and update. So once we've got this list of prioritised requirements, we then move into the next phase, which is called a Scrum. So what is a Scrum? Well, a Scrum is a mechanism for managing the cycle or the sprint cycle to deliver the agreed features from the sprint backlog within a particular time frame. Each Scrum Down, which is a collaborative, agile and fun workshop, is led by a Scrum Master, typically a Ciber UX design expert. The number of Scrum Downs are dictated by the progress in a true agile fashion to facilitate, prioritise and modify the direction. So Scrum Downs run through the sprint cycles, and the frequency of the sprint cycles can be amended. We have daily stand-up meetings, we have high resolution mock-ups, and the product catalogue, i.e. the backlog, evolves as we're going through that. So as a final example, there may be 17 features in sprint 1 to be delivered. We won't be distracted by anything during this agile process. We're going to deliver only 17 features within the agreed time period, and the critical part of this is down to Scrum Master is there to remove any obstacle to ensure focus is maintained. So once we go through that sprint cycle, we then move into what we call our sprint review. So after each sprint, a sprint review reviews the previous sprint. We may refine and add more product features to the sprint backlog. This process encourages innovation, new ideas, and the sprint backlog becomes exactly what we expect it to be. We may use further mock-ups to broadly show the solution. So we're using tangible mock-ups so the business can see what the application is looking like and how it moves through each of the different user patterns. And then we refine and mature the mock-ups for validation by the business, so the business has the final say. So the product backlog is approved. And finally, we move into what we call iterative delivery, or iterative delivery is going on all the time through the agile methodology. The iterative delivery approach is now in full swing and is a critical element of the agile approach. So after delivering sprint 1, which delivers working software based on agreed business requirements and is validated by the business, sprint 2 now launches with a new set of deliverables based on the agreed business requirements. So if we've got 5 sprints, sprint 1 starts, sprint 2 starts, sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5. So this cycle continues building additional functionality and providing this through product releases into a productive application. At the end of that iterative deliverable, we're delivering role centricity. We're delivering a capability that user role can take out into the business and really enrich, simplify and optimize their user experience within the business. Thank you for your time. Thank you.